Hi, and today I've got some very important information that I want to share with you. I have sourced this information, or the majority of this information, from a website, and the address is www.pubmed.ncbi.nlm.nlh.gov. Now, if you just put into your search engine PubMed, this will come up. It is a um, database for life sciences and biomedical topics. There's a lot of really interesting reading on there. Doctors and researchers and scientists from all over the world publish information there that they've observed and done studies on. I read the summaries of these reports quite frequently, um, just because I'm bored, I guess. I don't really know why, but I do. I get a lot of information there. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, uh, I read a report published by a British doctor. He had several patients who had tested positive for the COVID-19. He then would go and test everyone in their household. And he created a database of people who were asymptomatic and tested positive anyway in households with people who were symptomatic. So this wasn't like they had a different strain or something. They would have gotten exposed to the same strain, but wondering what the difference was. Well, he ran a battery of tests on the people who were asymptomatic, trying to find out what the difference was, and the people who were symptomatic as well. And he compared the differences. The one thing that he found, or one of the things that he found, that was consistent among most of his patients in this study, and he said he cited that he had about 150 patients in this study. So it was a very small study, but he cited that the folks that were asymptomatic had higher levels of vitamin D in their blood, and the people with lower levels of vitamin D were more likely to have higher levels of higher symptomatics, higher level number of symptoms. Um, this is something that really piqued my interest, so I started reading more on it. Each day since that time, there have been more researchers publishing information about the vitamin D3 levels and the patients and such. And this has really been very interesting to me. Now, I had to know exactly why, so I did a little more nerdy research, and this is what I found out. Under normal circumstances, when a pathogen enters your body, whether it's by your skin, in your nostrils, in your eyes, in your throat, in your mouth, in your digestive tract, anytime there's a pathogen that enters the body, it's found by a dendrite cell. Now, the dendrite cells alerts the immune system, who then sends out the lymphocytes, the neutrophils, the phagocytes, the macrophages, the T killer cells, and there's others, I'm sure, that I've left out. But it alerts these and sends that information out and starts attacking the pathogen immediately, so that when the pathogen goes into one of your regular cells and starts to replicate itself and sends it out, bam, they're caught, they're arrested, they're digested, they're destroyed. It destroys the. So therefore, you're not symptomatic because your body's responses, immune system has dealt with it. If you've got low levels of vitamin D, you don't get the same response. It's a delayed response for the immune system. More dendrite cells has to be alerted. It doesn't work as efficiently. So therefore, the response time for your immune system is lower. You have time to build up more symptoms. You have time to even die. So vitamin D levels are very important. Um, there are some very good sources for vitamin D. We all know that exposure to the sun gives us vitamin D. The vitamin D we get from the sun is called calcitarol. That is totally bioaccessible by every system in our body that needs vitamin D. We have the ability to create our own 100%. Now, if you are very white like me, you can get adequate amounts of vitamin D by exposing 70% of your body to sun in the midday for about 10 to 15 minutes per day for 3 days a week. Now, if you live further away from Florida than I do, because I'm in Florida, we have more intense sun here, then you need to increase that time. If you have darker skin pigmentation than I do, which is most of the planet, I will have to admit I'm a very white guy, but most of the people will have more or more pigmentation than I do, and you need to spend a little more time in the sun than I would need. You might need to spend 20 to 30 minutes per day, 3 days a week, exposing 70% of your body. Now, there's another trick to it. If you come in from the sun and go right in and immediately take a shower, it's not going to work, and let me explain why. When you're exposed to the sun, you sweat, and it's beneficial if you sweat before getting exposed to the sun. Like if you exercise and then you walk home from the gym to your home in the sun, that would be ideal. What happens is the sweat on your body sweats, the sweat on your skin has cholesterol in it. That cholesterol is synthesized by the sun into vitamin D. Your body then has to absorb that vitamin D back into your body. If you've got sunscreen on there, not going to happen. It has to be pure exposure to the sun. Your vitamin D is then absorbed into your body and it's used by your body. If you take a shower immediately afterward, it is not going to help you because you're washing the vitamin D that you've just made off. So it's very important that if you're choosing to make it from the sun and getting the calciterol vitamin D sources straight from the sun, then you have to follow this procedure. If you shower too soon, you're washing it all away. Now, there are two sources of vitamin D on the market, and that is vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Those supplements are available to purchase. Let's look at those sources because you can get some from your diet. The vitamin D2 is ergocalciferol, and the ergocalciferol is a plant-based vitamin D. It's found in some shiitake mushrooms if they're grown under UV light. They're found in some leafy green vegetables along with some herbs. Now you have to actually consume these herbs and the leafy green vegetables and the shiitake mushrooms. There are places or companies that are advertising herbal teas with vitamin D2 in them. You're not going to absorb it through a tea. You're going to have to actually consume the plant. You're not going to get it in a tea. And if you're going to consume enough of these, you have to consume basketfuls of this in order to get enough vitamin D for your body to process. Also, vitamin D2 is very difficult for your body to change into a form that it is used. The ergocalciferol, it takes a while for the liver and the kidney to transform it into the calciterol, which is the vitamin D that your body uses. Now, the vitamin D2, the ergocalciferol, is used by the ovaries in its natural form, but that's the only place that it is used. Now, the vitamin D3 is cholecalciferol, which is an animal-based vitamin D3. You can get that with pasture-raised beef and pasture-raised pork, organ meats such as liver, kidney, and heart. Even if they're not pasture-raised, they do have some vitamin D in them. You can get it through fortified milk. You can get it through the vitamin D3 through fatty fishes such as tuna, mackerel, salmon, swordfish, sardines, those sorts of things. And you can also get it in fortifications of certain cereals, and breakfast cereals can do it. These are all sources of vitamin D, and I feel like that you need to do some research to find out if you feel like you need to do the vitamin D supplementation, or if you can get it from the sun. I can't make a recommendation to you. Only thing I can do is share with you the information that I have found, and this is information that I have found in science-based literature, and I've took the time to read it and study it and research it. I would like and recommend that you share this information with first responders, with doctors and nurses who may be on the front lines, who in medical school probably studied this stuff, but may need a reminder to take care of themselves. Also their families of cashiers, families of essential workers, the ones that stock our shelves and clean up the stores, before we get there and after we leave. These folks need to know this information as well, because if they get exposed to it, they certainly want to minimize their symptoms. Also share this with the elderly people or the immune compromised people within your families, so that they can make a decision based on information on whether they need to supplement or if they choose not to. Because there's no evidence that once you're sick, supplementation of vitamin D helps. You have to have the adequate levels in your bloodstream before you're exposed. Also, it takes a while to build it up. It's not something you can take a pill and tomorrow you test high levels for it. Your body uses this when it's deficient in the blood. So it takes a while for all the cells to get the adequate levels they need in it so that it remains in your bloodstream. Also, it takes time for your liver to synthesize it. It takes time for your skin to create it and then absorb it. So the three sources that we know of today, it takes a while to get those enacted and get those functioning and get the supply chains up and get the supply level up. So share this with as many people as you can, as quickly as you can, so that they can make informed decisions based on the information. And also, I challenge you to do your own research. Find the answers here that I might be missing. Also, let me know when you found these answers, because I definitely want to know, and I'll definitely keep researching, and I'd love to find some research partners that would help me out in this quest for more knowledge, just knowledge to help us. But I really hope, because this is in the middle of the day and I'm about ready to take my shirt off and sit out here for 20 minutes. It's a beautiful day. It's nice and windy, and there's lots of birds around to entertain me, so I'll be fine. But it is a good time to be alive and well today. And I hope that you have found this information to be helpful, and I hope you share it with others. Thank you. Thank you for watching today's video. I recently had to reestablish my YouTube channel, so it's more important than ever that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notifications button, that way you'll know when I'm publishing new content. Thank you, and you have a great day.